Running for the 20th time under its present title and headed by the Irish challenger number 1, Abbey Glen, ridden by Frank Berry. 2, Barnbrook again, Simon Sherwood. 4, Danish Flight, Mark Dwyer. 5, Harnar Blinkert, Mark Pittman. 6, Jim Thorpe, Richard Dunwoody. 7, Orwell Times, Graham Bradley. 8, Prideaux Boy, Alan Webb. 10, Randolph Place, Phil Tuck. 11, Romahoff, Ronnie Began. 12, Saffron Lord, Richard Rowe. 13, Southern Air, Mark Perrott again. And 14, Terry Ash, ridden by Seamus O'Neill. And here's how they're betting at the moment.
And it's joint favourites to open with. Barnbrook again and Abbey Glen are on 11-4, the joint favourites. Randolph Place and Danish Flight 9-2. So we have joint second favourites as well. Saffron Lord 8-1. Then a gap to Orwell Times 14-1. On 16-1, Jim Thorpe. Prideaux Boy 20-1. How Now is 25s. Two of them on 50-1. Southern Air and Terry Ash, and finally Romahoff is 100-1.
12 runners with 12 fences to jump, and Captain Michael Sayers releases them on their way. Saffron Lord towards the right of the picture. Barnbrook again, centre, the cross belts. Abbey Glen right up just in behind them. Saffron Lord and Barnbrook again. Barnbrook again takes it up now from Saffron Lord. Then comes Abbey Glen and Orwell Times and Danish Flight. Barnbrook again there from Saffron Lord. Abbey Glen and How Now and Randolph Place. Orwell Times being tracked by Danish Flight, who's got Southern Air behind him. Prideaux Boy, one of the back markers, with Terry Ash actually last at the moment, and Barnbrook again the leader as they race towards the fence that'll be the last on the next circuit. Barnbrook again, clear at the moment from Saffron Lord and How Now and Orwell Times and Abbey Glen and Randolph Place. Then Danish Flight, Terry Ash the back marker, Barnbrook again the leader. From How Now, Saffron Lord. Abbey Glen, behind Abbey Glen is Orwell Times, then Danish Flight, behind Danish Flight, Randolph Place going well on the inner, and then Romahoff as they race towards the next. Barnbrook again. Jumps it beautifully, a little bit to the right, but lands well clear. Swings left-handed now to run downhill. The leader by about 2.5 lengths from How Now, with on the inside Saffron Lord, on the outer Orwell Times. Then comes Abbey Glen and Randolph Place on the inner. Danish Flight also going well. Jim Thorpe's next, then Romahoff, Prideaux Boy, Terry Ash and Southern Air. Barnbrook again made a mistake at that one. Jumped very much to the right. He's had a tendency to jump to the right, and he lost quite a bit of ground at that one. They're running down to the water now. And as they do so, it's How Now, Orwell Times, Abbey Glen over on the outside with Danish Flight up there, right up there. Barnbrook again, as I say, lost quite a few places. The first of the ditches now. Abbey Glen rises towards the outside. How Now on the inside with Saffron Lord. Orwell Times well with them. Behind them, Randolph Place and Danish Flight as they jump this plain one before the last of the ditches. Barnbrook again in trouble, jumping right once again. Saffron Lord on the inside of How Now, Orwell Times. Abbey Glen is 4. Behind them, going well too, Danish Flight and Randolph Place as they race towards the final ditch now. Saffron Lord on the inside of How Now, Abbey Glen on the outside. And Fowler there. Danish Flight moved into 4. Randolph Place fell at that one, fell at the last ditch. They're racing downhill now. Orwell Times the leader, from Abbey Glen in second. Third there is How Now, 4 Danish Flight and 5 Saffron Lord. Prideaux Boy is trying to get into the picture in 6th, and behind him is Jim Thorpe, and Barnbrook again looks to be counted out of it. It's Orwell Times now, the ex-Irish horse, leading the Irish challenger Abbey Glen, with Danish Flight coming there challenging on the far side. Prideaux Boy certainly not out of it at the moment as they come down to the next. And at this one, Danish Flight lands in the lead from Abbey Glen in second. Orwell Times. It's Danish Flight and Mark Dwyer now from Frank Berry on Abbey Glen. Prideaux Boy's in third and Orwell Times 4. Racing now to the second last fence in the Arkle Trophy. Danish Flight with a commanding advantage now from Prideaux Boy and Abbey Glen in second and third. Prideaux Boy made a bad mistake, rounding the home turn now. And as they do so, just one fly, one fence left to jump in the Arkle Challenge Trophy, and Danish Flight for Middleham is well clear of Abbey Glen second. Jim Thorpe has moved into third. It's Danish Flight with a 3-length advantage from Abbey Glen. Mark Dwyer from Frank Berry. Frank Berry renewing his challenge on Abbey Glen at the final fence. Danish Flight lands 2 lengths in front of Abbey Glen. Jim Thorpe's a follower at that one. All Times comes next, and then Barnbrook again. It's Danish Flight beginning to weaken as Abbey Glen challenges again over on the far side. But Danish Flight is holding him as they race up towards the line. They've got 25 yards to run. It's Danish Flight from Abbey Glen, and as they come to the line, Danish Flight has won the Arkle Trophy, and second is Abbey Glen, and third is the revived Barnbrook again, and fourth All Times, and then came Saffron Lord and Prideaux Boy and Southern Air and Terry Ash. And so the result of the Arkle Trophy is first, number 4, Danish Flight, owned by AF Barge Equine Limited, trained by Jimmy Fitzgerald and ridden by Mark Dwyer. Second was number 1, Abbey Glen, owned by Mrs. G.T. McKay, trained by Pat Hughes, ridden by Frank Berry. And third was number 2, Barnbrook again, owned by Mr. Mel Davis, trained by David Ellsworth, and ridden by Simon Sherwood. There, a grateful pat to the winner, Danish Flight, from Mark Dwyer on his 44th winner of the season, number 34 for Jimmy Fitzgerald.
The 4, Danish Flight, 11-2. Second, number 1, Abbey Glen, 11-4 favourite. And third, number 2, Barnbrook again, 7-2.